How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Today is a day that I personally have been waiting for. I've been waiting for the opportunity to be able to take out a Silverado that has the new refined 2.7 liter turbo 4-cylinder high output. And I just happened to get this custom trail bus in the other day, and it has that motor in it. So we're gonna take it for a spin and we're gonna see what we think. Now this is a refreshed version of the 22 Silverado, so it does have the new front end. You have the new grille setup. It even has a nice addition to the hood there, which was not on the previous Trail Boss models. But other than that, it's a custom. So you have the front end, you have the hood, you have the engine. Everything else is pretty much what you're used to in the Silverado Limited, even the interior, because this model does not get the updated interior. So the only thing we actually added to this truck for $595 is the Chevy Tech spray-on bed liner, making MSRP of this truck $49,440. I stand corrected. The bed liner is not $595, it's $545. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the remote start and we're gonna hear what this engine sounds like when we start it up. It doesn't have that big V8 rumble, but why would it? It's a 4-cylinder, right? Let's hop in, let's pop the hood, and let's take a look. Oh, remote start. When you pop the hood and the vehicle's remote started, it cuts the engine. So we're gonna press the button to start it up, because I wanna show you what it sounds like when the hood is open, compared to when the hood is closed, compared to what it sounds like inside the truck itself. So here's your 2.7 liter high output 4-cylinder turbo engine. That is what she sounds like. Kind of sounds like a tractor, you know. It's got that nice little 4-cylinder tick to it. Now when we close the hood down, you'll notice it quiets it down you know, substantially. And then when we get inside the actual truck, you'll notice that you really don't hear it at all. Like, it's very quiet in the cab. Right now we're at, what is that, about 600 to 700 RPM, and listening to this engine, you really don't hear it at all. Before we go, let me rev her up a couple times while we're here in park, just so you can hear how possibly it may sound in the cabin. And here's what it sounds like at the exhaust tip. All right, let's go. Let's hit the road and see how this thing handles. Now, but as we're pulling out a lot here, I'll just mention that the truck does run on 87 octane. So regular fuel is all you have to put in this 2.7 liter turbo high output. You get 16 miles per gallon in the city. It's rated at 18 on the highway with a combined fuel economy rating of 17, which is not all that much different than the V8s. So I don't know that you'd necessarily buy this particular engine for fuel economy reasons. You know, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I mean, 18 miles per gallon. I just took a quick shortcut around the back of the building next door to us to get to the first part of our test drive route. Now, this test drive is not going to be about the truck itself, suspension. We're really just focused on engine, transmission, and drivability. We were just talking about gas mileage. Now, yes, the gas mileage in the V8 in this, it's not all that much different. However, the price of the truck is different. So right now you get a 2.7 liter high output turbo. There's a $1,500 discount built into the window sticker. Plus you're not paying for either the 5.3, the 3-liter diesel, or the 6.2 liter. So you're actually saving money by getting a discount and also not paying for the motor. So, you know, you're still saving money on the truck itself. Let's make the turn here and see how it accelerates. Now this is like very, very light throttle. My goal on these test drives is really just to drive the truck as if you were driving a vehicle every day. You know, nobody gets in the truck. Many people don't just get in their vehicle and just put their foot to the floor everywhere they go. So you're not going to see any of that. Plus the truck's brand new. It only has 26 miles on it. So we're not going to do anything that we shouldn't do to an engine that's not necessarily broken in yet, but we can still feel out the power. It seems to coast very well. I mean, I haven't been on the gas there for quite a while before coming to this turn to hit the brakes. just trying to get a feel for the sound. It's definitely, you know, you can tell it's 4-cylinder. When you get on the throttle, you can tell it, you know, it's revving up a little bit and you hear it. Now, I don't have any kind of radio on or anything like that. It's not overwhelmingly loud. This does get up and go. It's not overwhelmingly loud, but it has like all sorts of like 4-cylinder-ish, turbo-ish sounds. It doesn't sound, of course, like a throaty V8 would sound, but it doesn't sound all that bad. The turbo sounds tiny. It sounds like a little small, very small turbo spooling up. I don't have any reference of how big a turbo would be based on the sound of it spooling up, but this one just sounds like it's a very small sound, put it that way. All right, first opportunity to kind of accelerate here. Well, until we get to those cars. All right, so I didn't expect that. It does shift quick. My foot was only down maybe 30% of the pedal and it instantly shot up to 4,000 RPM and caught whatever gear, you know, it went into. This is an 8-speed. Actually, that's a good test. We're gonna take off slowly. Let me move over here. We're gonna take off slowly when we can and just kind of feel out how it shifts and how many, if I can count how many times it shifts as I start to accelerate. I'm gonna come to a full stop. So we should be in first. All right, let's see. 2,000, shift, 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 red light. Did you hear that clunk? I'm gonna turn my auto start stop deactivate button off. Actually, you know what? Let's put it on. And if the engine does actually turn off, we'll get to hear what it sounds like when it's starting up. Is it something that's, you know, annoying, or is it subtle? Here's our little merging ramp. We're gonna look to our left, there's nobody coming. This is about 50% throttle. Oh yeah, this actually, that's 60, well, 56. Not bad, it does take off. They did focus on, again, low to mid-range, low to mid RPM ranges. So that's really, I guess, what I would consider anything from, you know, a dead stop up to maybe 50, 60 miles an hour. We got a red light here, so when this light turns green, I'm not gonna floor it, but we're gonna get on it pretty good and we're gonna feel that 430 foot-pounds of torque. That's about half throttle. At 65 miles an hour. What's deceiving about this is that was half throttle, yet the transmission took it to 5,000 RPM. Now, I wasn't full throttle at 5,000 RPM, so I wonder if I put my foot to the floor, obviously there's more acceleration there. That felt like more than enough. The shifts were smooth. Let me pass this bus off. What I can tell you is different right off the bat, just from driving this versus driving the 5.3 and the 6.2 on a regular basis. This has a lot of torque. It gets up and goes. There is a little bit of turbo lag. So where the 6.2 and the 5.3, as soon as you tap on that pedal, that torque wants to kind of launch you off the line. It just feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like a stronger torque, and this feels like a softer torque. I don't know if that makes any sense. It feels like as you're hitting the pedal, it's a soft feeling, and then it starts to accelerate, versus more of a hard feeling that's just gonna launch you off the line. I'd be really curious to see this next to the 5.3, next to the 6.2, and how they would perform if you had all three of them lined up. You know, same trucks, different engines, and just run them down the track to see the comparison of how they, who would win, essentially, who would win in the drag race. It does seem, like I mentioned earlier, it coasts like long. It does seem to hold, I guess, the right gear and just keep your forward momentum. It doesn't really slow down all that much as you're off the throttle. I mean, that was just a relatively level grade there. It's not like I was going downhill. However, I wasn't losing speed. Where are we at? We're at 57 miles an hour. We're at about 14 to 1,500 RPM. I'm just gonna put the pedal down a little bit, see if I can catch a shift. I did. Brought it to 35, right back down to 3, and we were up about 8-9 miles per hour. This truck feels fantastic. If you didn't hear it, I think you would assume it was a V8. You know, it sounds like a 4-cylinder. It doesn't sound like a V8, obviously. Let's see if auto start stop. No, it's not dropping off. I wonder why. It has like a whininess to it. I don't know if you can hear that through the camera, but as you're accelerating, you hear like a wee, like noises like that. A little bit of turbo spool, which I think sounds cool. I tell you, for the average buyer of a Silverado who, you know, puts their family in it, maybe some Home Depot runs, things like that. The majority of people don't tow when they buy these trucks from me. You know, they're basically just using it as an everyday driver, a daily driver. This truck with this engine would do just fine. You know, it's got plenty of power. It's plenty of usable power, you know, in everyday normal driving like this. Again, if you were looking to see the best it could possibly do as far as performance, it may not be the engine you want. However, you know, this is going to do everything you need it to do. It's going to accelerate, merge into traffic, climb hills, you know, do all the necessary things with plenty of power, power to spare. You know, the fact that you can have a 4-cylinder turbo like this that can tow 8,900 pounds, that's a lot of weight, you know, for an engine like this. And they did some refinements and they beefed it up a little bit. So, you know, compared to the last version of the 2.7, you know, you're even in a little bit of a stronger engine. So hopefully the reliability and durability will be top notch over the years. Only time will tell. Again, the reason why I was really excited about driving this engine is because my next vehicle, because I need a vehicle in about 5 months, may actually have this engine in it. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And as I pull back into the dealership here, we will end the video and we will see you next time.